All right, good morning. Let's get everything set up here correctly. I think that'll be the right angle for today. I think that will do it. We'll give everybody a little bit of time to get into the room. Gonna make sure I have everything that I need for this morning. I need my phone so I can see the chats. Hello, Michelle. Let me get my live going on my phone so I can see the chats. Let's see. There I am. There. Farmer Chaz, thanks for joining. Yes, I'm going to wait on the people. I just want to make sure that I have everything that I need for my chat today. Got that. Got my systems. Let me move some of these off the counter. Oh, what am I going to start with today? We'll leave that on the counter. We're going to start with this one. And we need some food. Let's grab the food. Food. All right, today's going to be all AeroGarden food. So that'll be nice and easy. All right. Hello, Miss Chanel, Love to Garden. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give some time for the people to get in the room. We're making sure we have everything set up here on the island that we need for today. Let me get some more pods. Just grab a handful and we'll throw them in here. Remember, we let them soak. So I'll throw those in there. We need some baskets. Might need some baskets today. Let me grab the baskets. Guess we'll need to go and do not disturb on the phone. There we go. All right. I think this has so you guys get to see my disorganization. You guys see my organization the other day. But let me go ahead and grab some baskets, my covers, and that. All right, set this aside. Let's go back to the chat. Where's my chat? Where's my YouTube? All right. All right, let's see. Just post your questions down if you already have them prepared. Yep, post your questions and we'll go through them. And yes, you got some questions about how to feed the system. Okay, we'll get some of that. All right, all right. We'll give the folks 2 more minutes to get in the room, and then we'll do an intro, and then we'll start to plant. Do, 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 do. Today won't be quite as busy as it was last week, because now we're just getting down to the last of the last of stuff that we're planning. All right, I need to get one more container. All right, I think we're at almost a 10-minute mark. Get our dwarf tomatoes out of there. All right, all right, all right. Welcome everyone to round 2 of our planting that we're going to be doing round 2 for hydroponics this year. I am Jacqueline. I am the content creator for Four Seasons Garden. I am also a master gardener, class of 2025. I have been gardening for almost over 20 years now. And I garden in mostly self-irrigated planters. You're going to hear me call them SIPs. I also garden in Virginia, Northern Virginia, so right outside of DC in what we call Zone 7A. And I also love to do, I love doing hydroponics. So I've done hydroponics for 10 years now, and I was just using it for just starting seeds. That's how I started out. I wasn't doing herbs. I wasn't planting anything over the winter. But 3 years ago, everybody knows COVID and everything. I started looking on some Facebook groups and how they grew over the winter to supply themselves with salads and tomatoes and cucumbers. And that's my mainstay for me for my winter hydroponics. So if you saw my a few posts back, a few lives back, I actually have 48 systems that I use for seed starting. And then this year, it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, another 8, 10, so about 20 systems that I'm going to be using over this winter to grow lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, doing some tests. I wanted to see how you could grow some micro dwarf tomatoes, some lettuce, and I'm going to do a test of the quick snack in one of the smaller systems so that you could see that if you don't have the larger systems like this one, like the Bounty, which could set you back about $150 to $200, that you can still garden in one of the smaller systems. This is a Harvest, and there's even a system smaller than that one. I don't have one of those with me right now, but we're going to be doing some of those next week. We're going to start some smaller tomatoes. We're going to start a quick snack in one of the slims so that we can see the difference of how the growth works with those different hydroponic systems. I am mainly a AeroGarden girl. AeroGarden was one of the first ones in the game. So I have most of my systems are AeroGardens. I do have some A-Hope gardens. Those are my second favorite. I've got 4 of those already. I did get a let pot. Hopefully on Thursday, I'm going to be doing that unboxing of that let pot. And I want to be able to grow. Let's see. I think I have some Tiny Tims scheduled to go into the let pot. So look for an unboxing on Thursday of the let pot. So I don't want to get too far ahead of the chat. So I want to say thank you for Shelly. She's here as my moderator. She's amazing. Thank you, Farmer Chaz, for joining us. Let's see what else. Who else is in here? Rashida! She's another one of my moderators. These two ladies are part of the Garden Gals, Garden Girls chat. Matter of fact, we will be having a chat this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Really excited to be on with the ladies. So if you haven't found one of our posts, I think I did post my live already that I'm going to be live on Sunday night. I think this is the first time I've been really prepared about now that I'm getting more into the lives and figuring out how to set it up. So look for us Sunday night, 8 p.m. It'll be myself, Shelly from Homestead Hideaway. I think we got that rolling off of our tongues now. Shelly from Homestead Hideaway, Rashida Monique, and then we have CC's Texas Garden and Gardening with Lisa. So that is our group. So I want to say hello to, who else is in here? I think I saw Chanel in here. Yep, Chanel Love to Garden. So let's see. I need to know how often to feed the system and when I can thin the sprouts. So thinning sprouts, we're going to talk about tomatoes. Definitely thin them out, 1 to a pod. Peppers, 1 to a pod. Eggplant, 1 to a pod. Your herbs, you can actually have 3 or 4 growing in 1 pod because they're just really thin, wispy. So you could actually have 3 to 4. Let's talk about dill, parsley, cilantro. All your herbs, you can do 3 to a pod easily. Your lettuces, you can do 2. I usually like to thin them down to 1 personally, but you could do up to 2. You just going to have to, if you're doing cut come again, you're going to harvest on a continual basis so that plant doesn't go to seed on you. So you definitely can do 2 lettuces to a pod. And then my way of feeding is I pre-mix my feed. I use AeroGarden for my tomatoes, my peppers. So any plants that fruit, I use the AeroGarden. Notice it says AeroGarden only. Once they fruit, I switch to AeroGarden and calcium. So I will add calcium to my mix. I'll add 5 milliliter of calcium, 11 milliliter of the AeroGarden food in my container. And then I will, as the water goes down in the container, I add my premix. I don't wait till the 14 days. I don't follow the AeroGarden 14 days, then add your food with the clock. Every time I'm adding water, I'm adding fertilized water. So my plant is getting continual feeding of my plants. And then for my greens, my leafy greens, I'll pull it. Give me a second. My calcium comes in the mail tomorrow because I had to order some. I ran out. I use the Maxi Grow 10514 by Journal Hydroponics. This is what I use for my leafy greens, for my herbs. And I do 1 teaspoon to a 1 gallon container for my leafy greens. So I do feed them differently depending on the type of plant. So fruiting, we do the AG mix. If it's leafy greens, I do the Maxi Grow. All right. Thank you, Shelly, for considering, the same units that I have. And I actually helped Shelly find some really great deals on Facebook Marketplace. I have a notification. If something for Air Garden, A Hope Garden, Let Pot pops up on Facebook Marketplace, it sends me a notification because if there's a really good deal, I'm off to buy it. So which units have food indicators? So your Harvest have a food indicator. Your Bounty has food indicators. So your larger systems have food indicators. Even your Sprouts have a food indicator every 14 days. But like I said, I don't follow it. When the notification pops up, I clear it, but I do not follow none of their food indicators. The Harvest and the Bounty does have a low water indicator. It'll flash. The Bounty and the Ultra will make a racket, let you know that water needs to be added. So for those, you will get a noise indicator saying it's time to add water. AeroGarden does have an app, so you can have the app tell you if there's low water. But I'm checking my plants every day right now because I'm checking to see what sprouted. So we did have the Outrageous and the Sweetie Romaine. The lettuces have sprouted. I have checked all the tomatoes, and all of them have roots that are growing. So we are off to the races on our plants that we planted last week, Tuesday. So super, super excited about that. Let's see. Yes, my bin is organized. I have one that says AeroGarden. I have AeroGarden 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but they've gotten a little bit disorganized, so it's time to do some reorganizations with them. All right. I was looking for micro dwarf okra. Yeah, okra grows way too big to go in a air, but you could do it Kratky style. You could do it in a deep water culture. You couldn't do it in a hydroponics, but you definitely could do deep water culture. We call it DWC in your home, because that would allow you to get the height and put like a standing light, one of those Barina lights that stand up, that you could stand up to give it light. So that's definitely something that you could do. I'm just not into doing the large plants inside. I don't have a setup for it. So we stay in the little containers. All right. Oh, let's see. Ooh, you asked for a let pot for your birthday, Farmer Chaz. Well, I hope you get one. When you put your birthday in the chat, my birthday is actually Saturday. I will be 29. And if you believe that, you can keep laughing with me. All right. The A-Hope Garden is a system that I bought with the 12 pots. Yes, I have 3 of those, and I love them. Donzel, thank you for joining. Didn't see you pop up into the chat. I think I've got all the questions. Amazon has the Maxi Grow. Okay. And it looks like Donzel says he's out on break. Beautiful. What brand of calcium do you recommend for the fruiting vegetables? I use, let's see. It is called, let's see. Should be telling me it's on its way. And I'll put that in the chat as well once I'm done. So the brand that I use is called Flourish. It is a 200 for that calcium that I use for my, and like I said, 5 milliliters, 11 milliliters of the AG, and that's what I use for my fruiting plants. All right, so let's get to planting. All right, November 24th. All right, so you have a birthday coming up. My twins was the first, so they turned 21. See, I'm 29, 21. I could have done it 8 years. I was a young mother. So how much Maxi do I do to a gallon of water? 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon, and it comes with, I don't even have to think it out. Comes with a tablespoon, comes with a teaspoon. You can see the size is better there. Just use a teaspoon, scoop it out, throw it in there, shake it up, and I feed my babies. Does it have to be spring or distilled water? I have well water, so mine's a little bit hard. So I pick up a lot of calcium deposits. I'll show you how bad it can get. So this is a bounty that I need to clean. So you can see all the calcium, all the water buildup. So I get a lot of that because I have hard water. Could I buy it? Yes. I don't. If you live on city water, I've seen recommendations to put your water in a gallon container, let it sit overnight, let the chlorine dissipate, and then add your food. So it's just going to depend on what you decide to do. I think most of them tell you to use distilled water in order to mix your food. But I could do a little bit of research on that and throw that into the chat as well. Throw it into the notes as well once I'm done. All right, let's get going. So we're going to start off today with some Mighty Minis, or we're going to put those in a harvest. So we have our harvest here. And let's get the lid off here. We do not have our filter. So we ran out of the box because I actually did some cleaning and threw the filters in earlier. So we're down to our baggie of filters. All right, so we have our filter in there. Always, always, always check for your filter. Then we need some baskets. So we're going to need 2 baskets. I think we're going to put them in opposite corners for this one. All right, and we need some wet pop. No, we're actually using the AeroGarden ones. So we're going to get our box open here. So AeroGarden, remember I told you I get free ones all the time. People are getting rid of their system, never opened it. This one is from 2019. So normally I would take out the extra seeds. So what comes in a brand new box? So this actually tells us it's a 3-pot kit. So 1, 2, and 3. It will always come with food. So now I have more food. And it'll come with the domes that you need. So it comes with 3 domes because you have 3 pots. But we're not going to plant all 3 pots. We're going to only plant 2 of the pots. Remember, because you don't want to plant every hole depending on the plant. So this is a tomato. It's going to grow, I believe, 6 to 8 inches. So 6 to 8. Imagine if you put one in every hole. It will be squished together, won't allow the plant to grow, give it some elbow room. So we're only going to plant 2. So I don't need my baskets. So we'll take the baskets back out. And so we're going to go ahead, and it normally comes with 2 to 3 seeds. It looks like there's 5 seeds. There's 5 seeds in this one. So we may be splitting these instead of just killing them. Just because I hate killing plants. And I've got enough systems that I can do more systems. And like I told you, I give away my fruit if I don't use it all. So we are going to put that in there. We do need covers. Let me go grab covers. I forgot to grab the covers. Let's go this way to grab covers. All right, so we need the covers to cover up the other holes that don't have plants to reduce our algae growth. So there's our covers. All right, so can we go back to thinning? How much about kale, spinach, and lettuce? Lettuce, we're going to do 2. Spinach, you can leave up to 3, because you're going to be eating them on a regular basis. So 3 to 4. Kale, maybe 2, depending on the growth. So you're going to have to look on your packet. All right. I think we're back online. Not sure what's going on with the internet. I'm going to blame it on Xfinity. How about that? So Hopefully everybody can now hear and see me again. I'll wait for someone to say yes in the chat. Woo-woo! Okay, good. Xfinity's being goofy. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I don't measure ppms. I don't measure pH. I just use the food as is, and I just plant my plants, and I have had great success. Great success. When I try to do all the pH testing and all that, it drove me insane. And I was too high or too low or too something. So I just feed and go. And I've been doing this, like I said, 10 years, definitely with my seed starting, and then 4 years now with since COVID, with just feeding and growing things in the home. Right. So we need a cover for the front. Let's grab a cover. Let's throw some food in here. All right. Throw a little bit on these little corners because it's floating to the top. So hopefully that'll absorb. All right, throw my little cover. I got the wrong cover. Put the right cover. I may not have a cover in here. All right, I have to find a cover later in one of the other bins. This one did not fit. That's okay. I'll move that to the staging area. All right. Let's get back to the YouTube. Farmer Chaz, up to you. I definitely won't be using the pH. But that's just me. Personally, yeah, it's just too stressful for me to do the pH. All right, so our Mighty Mini is done. We're going to do an AeroGarden cherry tomato. So that's the larger one. So we're going to set that aside. And we're going to grab our Bounty, because those grow 18 to 24 inches. Make sure I got this in the right spot. All right, there we go. Got our light. This is for the light. It'll connect to the system. And we need to mix. I'm going to throw the water in here and mix more water. All right, let's do that. All right. So for this one, nope, we need, where is it? Here it is. So we're using another one that for the AeroGarden. We're going to put this one right here, kind of in the middle. It'll give it room to grow out. I gotta figure out. I think this is my open one. Nope, that one's not open. That one's not open. Let's grab the one that's open. All right, this is the open one. I'm pretty sure. All right, remember I use these wonderful little syringes. I'll put the link for that in the chat as well. And I just pull it all the way back. And I give it a good shot of food, because we have to feed our plants. If we don't feed our plants, plants aren't going to grow. So I put my lid on there. Shake her up. Pour it in. And it's going to take the whole gallon, because this is one of the bigger systems. All right, let's get this to fitting. All right, now we need some covers. So we're going to cover every hole. Trying to find all the ones that match. You guys remember that from last week. There's another one. There's another one. There we go. All right, as soon as the seed sprouted, I added the agents A and B, but the seedlings have not reached the top and come out of the pod yet. Did I jump the gun or will that harm my babies? No, you don't harm your babies. If your seed sprouted, you can go ahead and feed, absolutely. You're perfectly fine. And then if they haven't reached the top, leave the dome on there. Leave the dome on your plants, even though it hasn't reached the top yet. It allows just leaves that nice moisture for it to just get all the moisture it needs to get growing. Once it hits the top or almost the top, you can take that plastic dome off, certainly. Now that you said plastic dome, I did not put one. Let me go put those on those right now. All right, and we'll go ahead and remix another batch. So we're ready for the next ones. I like that sound. All right. Let's see. So we're good there. We need a cover. Did not bring my covers. Where's the extra one from the box? There we go. So we now have a cover. We need a front cover. And someone asked, do I add food as soon as I start the plants? Yep. I don't wait to add the food later. I give up fertilized food right off the top. I've never had problems with it. But you do what works best for you. If you found that it's worked better for you to wait till they sprout, that's fine. I try to keep it as simple as possible. You guys know I'm a lazy farmer. I'm a lazy gardener. I'm going to do whatever simple and works every single time. I like McDonald's French fries. They're hot, ready every single time. I'm going to do the same thing with my garden. What works every single time. So what works for me may not work for you, though. So you're going to need to find out what works for you. From the words of Rosita Monique. All right, so we've got our Mighty Minis done. We have our cherry tomatoes done. We need to do some micro toms in a harvest. So we're going to switch to the Harvest 360. So we're going to be in a round one. So we're going to the round shape. We have our filter in there. Always check for the filter. So we have our filter. Get our cord to come through there on the side. So our micro tom is in our box. So let's get it. So we are working with just dwarf tomatoes because we want to make sure that we stay under that 2 feet, because most of our systems, the highest that will go is 24 inches. So we're always picking seeds that will stay under that height level so that we're not struggling. We're not having the plant struggle. We're not struggling as gardeners. We're going to make sure we pick the right plants for the right systems. All right. So we do need baskets. Pull out those baskets. We're going to do 2 in opposite corners, like we said. So make sure they sit in there correctly. All right, we need some pods. And I got my little towel here to wipe my fingers off. My extra mini cherry. All right, and then we're gonna put one in each because I have found that these do sprout really well. So these are micro toms from Seeds and Such. All their seeds are $3.99 unless you're buying in bulk. So, and I think it's like $5.95 to ship. They will run specials. So if you sign up on their website, they will give you some specials, and it'll tell you that this packet was 15 to 20 seeds. It was a lot more than that. I've given seeds to my mom. I gave seeds to my sister, and I still have some, and I've grown these now since 2022. Let's see. Germination, they guarantee 80% or higher. I think I've been at 100%. And it'll give you some information on the back. So let's put these back in here. All right. Yep, so you want to keep them cozy in that dome. Absolutely. Yes, there is some hydroponic systems that are still quiet. The A Hope Garden, I think, is one of the quietest systems that I own out of all my systems. You probably hear one gurgling right now. It's my 2020 sprouts. Those are the older system. Those are the ones that they are the noisy ones. I don't mind it. I like to hear the water bubbling. But if you do not like to hear water bubbling, then you are not going to want one of those older systems. Get the newest sprouts if you're going to do one of the smaller systems. I have been doing a little bit of research on the smallest systems, and I'm going to keep doing some more research other than the sprout to see what smaller systems are out there as well. Yeah, super quiet. Yeah, you have to have your, yeah, you thought it was broken. I did too. I when I first got my first A Hope Garden, I messaged them and I was like, I think the system's broken. What's going on? She goes, it only cycles and she goes, open up your system. It'll cycle every hour. And I opened it up, and yes, I could see it bubbling, and it was just super quiet, super quiet. But everything grows in it, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. All right, so we are doing the microtoms. They're already in there. We need to label. So let's get us a labeling sheet here. I think I still have room. I need to grab my pen. Give me a moment. Since I wasn't doing quite as much as I was doing last week, I did not label. So today is 11/4. And I do write the date that I planted. And these are microtoms. And then in my app, as you guys know, I use the Seed to Spoon app. I go back into the app and I will mark when the plants sprout, and it'll keep track and let me know when I should be harvesting based on that plant. All right, so we got microtoms, and we use these covers that you're seeing me put on here to keep the sunlight down, and it helps prevent algae. And it also tells me what I've planted in here. So we've now done that. While I was over there, I should have grabbed some domes. Let me grab some domes. All right, here's our dome. So we keep everything pretty much organized by type. So it's just easy to quickly find. So there is our covers, and we need some, this is a gray top. So I use the white covers. So I'm going to cover up 4 of the holes. And then we need, oh, this is another one that I need to, oh no, this is the wrong one. Here we go. So our cover goes over the hole after we add water. So fruiting plants, microtom. So we're going to put our AeroGarden food into this container. So it used about like 2/3, a little bit under 2/3. All right, we have our cover on that. We'll set that to the staging area. What else do we have? So the last thing that we're going to plant is our dianthus and our snapdragons. Remember I told you I got crazy one year and ordered a Bluetooth hydroponics. So here's our Bluetooth hydroponics. You can see there on the front where you dial in, turn it up, turn it down. It connects to my phone. So super fun. So for these, they do take a different shape. Notice that it's a square versus our round. So I'm going to actually open these pods up and move them to the square one because we need the square shape. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I just don't like how it looks aesthetically. So we are going to do a snapdragon in the middle. So I'm going to take the sticky off of this one. Okay, no, not going to be able to reuse it. All right, so we're going to take our snapdragon, put that one in the middle, and let me label it right now because I will forget that I put the snapdragon in the middle, 11-4. So we're going to do some flowers because it's nice to have some flowers indoors. So I'm going to stick that label right there. So there's our, and then we're going to do some dianthus as well. $11.4. All right, so some people do not add nutrients until they see their first set of true leaves. So, like I said earlier, you do what works for you. Works for you. I'm awesome. I don't think I can say there's a wrong way, but there's a lot of right ways that you could definitely do this. A lot of right ways. All right. So there is dianthus and one more dianthus. All righty, there we go. And it says it'll sprout in 7 to 14 days for both the snapdragon and this dianthus. So it's going to take a little bit of time before they will grow out. That's okay. I'll put that one there. And this one, I am going to use the AeroGarden food. I'm not going to use my leafy greens. Just because I think it'll just be better for it since it is AeroGarden product. So we're going to go ahead and fill this one up. All right, we need some more. All right. So as soon as that fills up, so we're going to reuse these baskets. So I'll clean them up, rinse them off, throw them in my bag, and reuse them in another project for another day. Let's see. It's filling up quickly here. Right, these have different shaped domes as well. So here's my rectangle dome. So we'll put our rectangle domes on this one. Throw these in the basket. And our food. And I shake every time because it will settle down to the bottom. Hey, Peace in the Garden. Glad you joined Peace in my garden. We're almost wrapping up here though. Not as long this live as the last live. We planted a lot more. All right. We are filling up here. And we're at the max line. So I will save this because I noticed some of my tomatoes, they're already, the water starting to dissipate out of those, evaporate out of those. So it'll be time. I haven't added any water to any of the systems in this whole week because they haven't needed it. So because they're still babies, they're still growing. Once they get going, about every 2 to 3 days, you're definitely adding, Hey, Mom. My mom just joined. That's okay. You're late, Mom. So today, I'm going to set this one here to the left. So it's kind of out of my way. And let's just talk through the last bit of this. So today we planted the Mighty Minis. So those are going to be from Air Garden in the harvest. Those are going to be our smaller tomatoes. And then we did an AG Air Garden cherry tomato. So that's going to be a larger one. So we did some more tomatoes and we did micro toms. So we're going to have lots of tomatoes, but that's okay. It's nice to just pop. My kids will take a tomato, just pop them in their mouth and eat it like a grape. So truly awesome. And then, of course, we did flowers this time, which we didn't do before. And then next week we're going to get into the sprouts. I want to do some small. What can we grow in those really small hydroponics? If you don't have a lot of room, you just want to put on a little shelf, or you have a little side table, or you have just a little spot on your dining room table, or just a little place that you can just tuck it away if you don't have a lot of dedicated space. So we're going to be doing. Oh, you want me to do some spinach? Okay. We can do some spinach. We can do spinach in a sprout. That would be really good. We'll do that. We'll do some lettuce in a sprout. We'll do some Paris Island in a sprout. Looking to do a small pepper. I'm going to try a pepper. I think I'm going to do pizza my heart. It's a little small pepper. We're going to do that in there. Bok choy. I have never grown bok choy, to tell you the truth. Don't even have seeds for it. Basil. Yes, I could definitely start some basil. Basil is good for all your Italian cooking. So for spaghetti and all that kind of good stuff. Brassica. Yes, you can put brassicas and basil. So those are things that we could talk about later too. Like what things can you mix and match? What things can you companion plant together? So definitely you can companion plant brassicas and your herbs. That's a great one because you're using the same type of food, right? Anything that you're going to use the same type of food, you can companion plant. So you're going to use brassicas and basil. That's going to use my maxi grow, so I can put those together. I could put a pepper and a tomato in one. That would be great because they're also going to use the same type of food. It eventually will fruit. So that's going to be great. And then, yes, anything that you start in your hydroponics, if it's the right season for you, you can certainly transfer it to your garden. Let's say you're started growing peppers all winter long, and then springtime comes around, you take that pepper and you will need to harden it off. You can't just take it and throw it outside. You will have to take it in and out, whatever your process is to harden off your plants. Once you harden them off, then let them grow outside. Absolutely, that is something that you could do. And then even in coming back into the home, right? If it's a dwarf, cut off a clipping off of it, root it, bring it back in the home if it's a dwarf. And then it just keeps on going. So you can actually take that plant in and out, in and out, in and out as many times as long as it's a dwarf, transfer it out and transfer it in. So Jacqueline, I am content creator for Four Seasons Garden. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're right about an hour. I'll go clip out for the people that do the replays, all the wonderful internet drops in the middle there. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. I've truly enjoyed everyone with us today. Go and plant something in your hydroponics. If you've got one sitting around and you're like, oh, I didn't know what to plant in it, do a lettuce, do a micro tomato, do something small. I'm telling you, you will enjoy just having something grow in your home, just to see it and care for it and just love it and just be able to eat it later on. All right, everyone, thank you for joining today and have a great rest of your week. I will see you on Thursday for our unboxing of our Let Pot. Not sure what time. Might be like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock-ish time. This time works well for me. So we'll see you on Thursday.